This is Amateur Logic, episode 172 for August 15th, 2022. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world's leaders in ham radio accessories, and by ICOM. Contest season is here. Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Good evening. Welcome to another exciting episode of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Emil.
And I'm Mike.
And it's good to be back with you again. As always, I tell you, getting the show together tonight has been a real treat. It's been right down to the wire. To start the day off with, well, actually it happened last night. My sewer is stopped up, so I've spent all day outside working on that and still have not got it done yet. So I had to stop so we could do the show. And various and sundry other things. So it has been an interesting day for me so far. So if I doze off, you'll know why.
Okay. Well, you have a good excuse.
Okay. So, Tommy, what have you been up to?
I've got a new toy to play around with. It's pretty cool. Looking forward to showing you guys that.
You do. That's right. Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Okay. Emil, what's been going on down there?
Well, besides tiptoeing in between the raindrops every day and the thunderstorms, avoiding the lightning, we've been kind of pulling together some things and getting ready for Huntsville. I think I might see some people there, huh, Tommy and George?
You might see some people there.
It's a good chance. Yep. And it's not just us. Wayne, KG5RE will be there. Vince, Wayne's brother. Chip will be there from the chat room.
Yeah, K9 MIT.
Yep.
For the infamous chip stick.
Yep.
And John's coming too, George. John will be there, and another ham from the local area here, Larry.
Yep. So we know there's going to be at least a half a dozen people there already. that we know.
I'm pretty sure there might be more than that. I'm not sure.
Oh, I suspect it's going to be a large crowd over. I know, pretty sure Ray Novak's going to be there. Richard Stubbs.
Yep.
With MFJ will be there. I bet it'll be, I bet the Ham Fest will be like it always has been.
Oh, yeah.
Big crowd, same exhibitors.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be the first one for me in 2.5 years, I guess.
Wow. Well, it'll be the third one for me this year, but
I'm going to buy something. If I don't buy anything but a PL259.
I remember you saying that you had used up that bucket full that you had.
Yeah.
We need some more nose rings.
Didn't you buy a wheelbarrow full of PL259s years ago?
Yeah, I should have.
Yep.
We bought a whole bunch of those gold ones, but we've given them away.
Well, Mike, what's been going on up there?
We had a system shut down at work, so I've got the next 2 weeks off. And I thought I'd have all kinds of time for projects, but so far, not so good. Although it's been pretty warm here, and keep that humidity with all that rain, Emil. Keep it down there. We don't want it. We got a reprieve a couple of days ago, and we're back into reasonable temperatures where we can open the windows up. So I hope to get some projects completed that I've started and never finished. I say that every year, but something always comes up.
Marty's in the chat room tonight, so watch out. Don't complete too many, or he'll win.
That's right, or he's going to win.
Yep. Oh, K2BAG is in there.
Oh,
The
John.
hat
You
is in the
haven't
house.
You haven't seen John the Hat in a long time.
Yeah, it's good to see you in there, John.
Yeah. Well, we've got a number of things we're going to talk about tonight. I officially am the slacker of the month, which means I didn't shoot the video segment for tonight's show. With four of us here, we can't really get four separate videos in usually. Although everybody's was a little bit shorter than normal this time
Not
around.
mine.
Not yours. You were 1
Okay.
second under.
Yeah, 1 second under
Well,
10 minutes.
It was a little shorter for you than...
Yeah. I'm a little long-winded.
Yeah. We did shoot some video, though. Tommy and I have shot a lot of video here. You know, we've been talking for literally months about the repeater we're about to put on the air here. The new ICOM D-Star Generation 3 repeater. We got it going. It's not at the repeater side. It's actually sitting right down here in front of this table. And we were on it last night.
Yeah, well, we were on the gateway.
Yeah, on the gateway. I was on the repeater.
Oh, that's right. You sure? Yeah.
Yeah, I was using my handy talkie because it's sitting right here in the shack. But we'll have it on site, and I want to do it before Huntsville, so we'll see if we can't get it over there and get it where it's going to live. But it is, well, it's live right now, but just no antenna, a dummy load.
I'm sure you'll see more about that in the future.
Yep, you will, because we shot a whole lot of video. So we got some splaining to do, or at least Tommy does. Well, let's get on into the first. I don't know, this is not an email. This is a post, isn't it?
Is it mine?
It's yours.
Yeah, that's why I didn't print the rundown. Okay. Yeah, it is a post. It's a Facebook post from our friend Bob, and his call sign is DV7NIB. It's kind of a short email, but it's a short post, but it's really cool info. It says, to our fellow hams, adventures in battery land are all about battery parts 1 and 2, 73 from DV7NIB. And it's a link to these nuts and bolts articles. It's one article, but 2 parts, I guess. But it's got all kind of cool information about batteries on there. And I think you can tell like kind of a bit of a battery nut due to, you can tell from all the segments that I've done on the topic. But there's stuff in here about powering your microcontroller, connecting your battery to an Arduino, how much power does your project need, different battery options, milliamp hours, power management, battery controller circuit, how to read voltage, different things like that. Some things we've covered here on Amateur Logic in the past in different segments, but some of it we haven't, and it's a pretty good source of information, so appreciate you sharing that with us, Bob.
Yeah, and Nuts and Bolts magazine it's a good magazine. I've been a subscriber for several years now. I always look forward to new issues coming in. So
yeah, there's a lot of good info in there. So those 2 links will be in the show notes.
Yep. Cool. Well, the first video tonight, I tell you, I think tonight Mike will be giving email a run for his money with the cheapness.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on, Emil.
What's going on?
Well, I don't know.
I've even got Emil beat for Huntsville Hamfest this year. I bet you I spend a lot less than he does.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Because I can't go.
Send me some money. I'll buy stuff for you.
Well, Emil, what's your segment about tonight?
Well, George, I'm glad you asked, because every once in a while, I kind of look over my shoulder and check to see if there's something that has changed with all the software and all the free softwares that are out there and everything. And, you know, just to look back and see what changed. Did anybody update anything? And this segment pretty much is the epitome of that. Me going back and looking to see if there's any updates or something I need to worry about adding new features, you know, whatever it is. And it's all digital. So check it out. It's everything digital as far as updates and what have you. So check it out.
Hello, George, Tommy, Mike, AmateurLogic.TV viewers. In this episode, I wanted to go through a whole heap of updates on the digital fronts. Lots happening out there lately. First one on the list here you see is FreeDV. While on the trip to Ohio invention, we got to interview some people who are messing around with FreeDV that uses the Codec 2 codec for our digital voice over HF using the open standard or open licensed software for digital voice over HF. They've got this new mode in here that gets it right down to 1 kilohertz of bandwidth, which is incredible to me. There's an update from FreeDV that I'm going to try out later. Besides that, there's been some updates, pretty much constant updates being made to the VAR-AC chat. As you can see here, it's HF and digital chat using the VARA protocol. That has an awesome interface, in my opinion. Control the rig, send files, chats, have chat QSOs, as well as now there's integrated mailboxes and also HF relay capabilities built in through other stations. So very interesting stuff happening on the VAR-AC fronts. You got to check that out. Of course, that protocol I'm talking about that is this one here, the VARA HF or VARA FM. And now I see there's a VARASAT protocol, which if you look at the charts, rivals the PACTOR modes as far as speed and signal to noise ratio. A huge difference in cost there, as you know, between the hardware modems and this software protocol. That is, if you activate it properly and use it properly. Neat stuff happening on those fronts with VARA. One of the other things I noticed, even with all of the things happening in the Ukraine, is a software for Packet from UZ7HO has an update as well. All of these have the change log or somewhere after you install it or on their websites about what they're changing. The biggest thing to know is that no matter what the digital front is here for people using data modes, streaming voice modes, you name it, it's all dynamic right now. Lots of changes, lots of updates. This one was just updated in June of 2022. I know the VARA protocol is also constantly being updated, as well as this, which just got released recently from 4Z1AC. So the latest was February for FreeDV. And finally, you know, there's a hotspot for all the digital modes, the Pi-Star, MMDVMs, and those things. But what about this one? If you haven't checked it out yet, this is a DigiPi from KM6LYW. It's also, think of it as a hotspot for all the digital modes. Literally one Pi that will switch between hosting all of these services you see here. And he's always making updates to that and producing his own sets of videos on what to do with it and how he's using it. So that's really neat stuff. Lots of information about how to interface it with your rigs. And this is something that me and Glenn have been talking about and putting together. It works. We tested it last winter field day, and it just worked for sending a message on our Digi packet system. So lots of stuff out there. Check it out. Lots of changes. Pay attention to some of these features that are coming out. So some of the really neat features of this application that are improved are the use of slots. He's basically got slots set up that you can go in, check out to see if anybody's on them, or call CQ, and then it'll go wait at another frequency. I thought that was very interesting change he's made. Other features are file transfers and some canned responses for chatting, kind of reminiscent of the old PSK 31 days and those clients. But the fact that this chat software will basically tell you when someone's chatting, it's kind of got a modernized feel to it. Not as fast as pure internet chat clients or things like that, but still bringing some new features into HF chat or keyboard to keyboard modes, and really uses that Vera protocol pretty good. So I gotta hand it to him. I like what he's doing with this, and I use it, and there's pretty steady stream of development going into this. So check out that with Vera AC. One of the other features that's in there, as you can see on the screen to the right, is the use of PSK Reporter. I found it just works. I like seeing where my signal's being heard, even though I'm only chatting to one person. You can actually see the QSOs or what's hearing you through the use of PSK Reporter. Kind of like, again, PSK as well as Whisper in some of the WSJTX modes. Good use of this stuff. Check that feature out. Well, as far as the UZ7HO sound modem front, what I use it for is the RMS packet gateway that I run off of our Digi here in Slidell. That's an updated version there to look out for. And as for the Vera HF modem, you can see here there's a 462 version now, which can be registered for the full speed. Of course, I use it primarily with WinLink Express for the WinLink system, but of course you can also use it with the Vera or VAR-AC. Same protocol, different software that uses it. Can mention WinLink Express, but every time you start it, it updates. It'll update itself or ask you. So it's built in. Check for updates constantly with the forms as well as the software itself. Again, excellent use of Vera on this one for the WinLink system via HF and FM or VHF and UHF. There is a Vera FM protocol as well.
Cheap stuff, Emil.
It is cheap. And there's the star of that ending of the video there. But anyway, it is cheap, George. And, you know, for being free, they sure do have a very responsive developer community in some of those apps. And that always amazes me how much time they put into these so that we benefit and can use them. So I am absolutely amazed at what that Vera protocol is capable of, signal to noise ratio wise, and in the speed, of course, as compared to some of the other stuff out there, like the P4 Dragon and in other modes. So they putting that into our hands to use, so we might as well use it, right?
All right. Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Really cool stuff. And cheap.
And cheap.
Price is right. What happened to your cheap ham certified logo? I was expecting to see that at the end.
Yeah, it's still in my YouTube channel there. I'm going to have to break that one out. I haven't used it in a while.
Yeah.
I've used it a few times myself.
Well, Tommy, we got a postcard here.
We do.
Right here. Have you got a picture of the postcard?
I do have one.
If I can figure out where it is.
It's right there.
Okay.
This came from our friend Time, OH7T. You guys hear him. He's been a good friend of the show for years. Anyway, it says, greetings from Isle Rugen. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Isle Rugen, Germany. He said it looks like a good expedition place. 73 Time, OH7T. And but anyway, it does. It's pretty interesting looking. When I saw the card, though, I thought it looked like Germany.
That would be a nice. He said isle, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
You could do islands on the air there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking place.
Yeah, it is.
I went to Germany this year. Well, I guess it was actually the end of last year near Thanksgiving. It was a really cool place to go. I never thought much about going, but it's a beautiful country. What bit I saw of it, I'd like to go back sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sending that to me.
Cool. Well, let's see. Next up, oh, Mike, it's your turn with I don't know, what is this, a post, an email? What you got here?
This is a post, and it's from an article from the IEEE engineering folks. They produce a monthly magazine, also bulletins, weekly bulletins, and it was in their latest bulletin. And it's about how they're able to convert water vapor and sunlight. Am I leaving out anything? Oh, yes, and CO2 into kerosene. So we were talking about that, I think, on the last segment, about wouldn't it be nice if we had a use for all that extra humidity you have down south there? Well, here you go. You might want to consider starting up one of these plants and produce kerosene out of all that excess moisture in the air, and get rid of some of that carbon dioxide. And you've got plenty of sunlight down there, so sounds like an ideal place to set up shop. But anyway, I found that pretty interesting, and it just seems to be timely because we were talking about that recently at the last segment.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We do have an abundance of humidity.
Yeah.
And no problems there.
And please keep it down there. We finally got rid of ours.
I'm waiting for you to send one of those polar vortexes down this way.
Well, actually, temperature-wise, it's been pretty good. It's only been between 291 and 293 degrees Kelvin during the day. So
Nice.
I'm not doing Fahrenheit. No more Fahrenheit and Celsius conversion. It's over. Somebody else can do the math from now on. Everything's going to be in Kelvin.
Was that a setup, Tommy? Did y'all coordinate that?
No, but it worked out quite well.
It did. Wow. Okay, yeah, nobody will know what you're talking about. At least down here. Would you like a good, quick way to erect your portable antennas at the next ham radio outing? Then check out the MFJ 1914 Lightweight Antenna Support System. The MFJ 1914 is a stainless steel antenna mass mount system, and it comes complete with 4 15-inch heavy-duty tapered galvanized stakes with outer pins for secure ground mounting of your favorite MFJ telescopic mast. It includes 2 sturdy U-bolts that will hold up to 2 1/4-inch outer diameter mast. Telescopic mast and portable operations are more popular than ever, and the MFJ 1914 will help you get your antennas up in the field quickly, easily, and safely. Assembly takes only a few minutes with a Phillips head screwdriver and a wrench. When you're ready to deploy your antennas, just place the MFJ 1914 mount system on the ground and use a hammer to drive the 4 tapered stakes into the ground for a sturdy, secure mast mounting base. Attach your mast and antennas, telescope your mast, and get on the air from almost anywhere. And depending upon your mast, antenna choices, conditions, and location, guiding may not be required. When you're ready to enjoy the next SOTA, POTA, IOTA, field day, or any outdoor radio operating event, take along your MFJ telescopic mast and MFJ 1914 stainless steel antenna mast mount system and get on the air. And it's perfect for your backyard or MCOM uses too. MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. A pretty good job of keeping the cost down on this one. Do you want to set it up?
Well, actually, I guess you could say it's a double feature, because it's kind of like 2 segments in one, and they would have probably made 2 good Amateur Logic shorts, but I decided to throw them together in one video. But anyway, it's a definitely cost-compliant digital multimode hotspot. And the second half of that is how to add M17 to Pi-Star.
Digital multimode hotspot and adding M15 to Pi-Star. I stumbled on these inexpensive DVM hotspots and I decided to order one. It was free shipping and my order took about 2.5 weeks to arrive. I ordered as shown, but be careful when choosing your options before you check out. I chose to order the Jumbo Spot DVM board with the aluminum case, which didn't add much to the total cost. I have found that it is better to purchase your Raspberry Pi Zero W elsewhere. Other than the Raspberry Pi, it came with everything else, such as mounting hardware, antenna, and GPIO header connector pins, should your Raspberry Pi Zero W not have any. More on this later. The Jumbo Spot kit is a fully self-contained digital hotspot supporting DMR, D-Star, P25, and Yaesu System Fusion. It's fully assembled and tested in a ruggedized aluminum enclosure. All that's required for portable operation is a mini USB power source and a Wi-Fi based internet connection. Also, if you didn't order a Raspberry Pi Zero W, you'll need that as well. Some of the product's features are built-in Wi-Fi, built-in 0.96-inch OLED display, built-in LED indicators for the status of power, PTT, COS, and mode. It's fully tested and comes preloaded with the DVM firmware. It has up to 10 milliwatts of RF power and comes with an SMA antenna connector with the UHF antenna included. The specs mention VHF 144 to 146 MHz, but I think that must be a misprint. If you decide to use the Raspberry Pi Zero W board without the GPIO pins, you'll have to solder on the included GPIO pins before you can install it on the board. When soldering in my GPIO pins, I like to install them on the board first by plugging them into the daughter card and then plugging them into the Raspberry Pi. Then I secure the two boards together using a piece of tape. Be sure to check that the pins are properly inserted and that the two boards are parallel before soldering. Secure the DVM and Raspberry Pi boards using the included hardware. Pay attention to potential shorts if using a Raspberry Pi Zero W with a full set of GPIO pins. I suggest covering the OLED display connections with a piece of electrical tape. Okay, that's it for the hardware. Now it's time to open up a web browser and head over to the Pi-Star website at www.pistar.uk/downloads. Once you've downloaded the image file, you'll need to burn that image file onto a microSD memory card. For help with this, head to the link to W1MSG's video on how to do this. Craig has done a great job on making this video, and much better than I could. Again, using a web browser, let's head over to Alessio's website where we'll find a script that he has written to add the M17 bits to Pi-Star. To successfully run M17 Gateway, your DVM modem or hotspot needs firmware version 1.6.0 or better. For these next steps, you need to access your Pi-Star web interface. So connect to your Pi-Star hotspot and go to the configuration page, then click on Expert. From the Expert page, click on SSH to open up in terminal mode. We'll need to permit write access, and to do this, type RPI-RW. For simplicity, we'll also change to super user by entering in sudo space -s. Note the change in the command prompt. We'll need to enter the following curl command as shown on the screen here. I like to type long command lines into a text editor, then I simply cut and paste into the command line. To paste into your SSH session, simply right mouse click and an option to paste from the browser option should appear. Paste into the text box and then just press enter. As soon as you press enter, lines of code should scroll by in your terminal window. Just be patient as this operation will take a few minutes to complete. Once complete, you'll see a message at the bottom of your screen indicating that M17 is now available on your system. At this point, all we need to do is reboot your Pi. Do this by typing in reboot and pressing enter. After Pi-Star has rebooted, go to the configuration page. The M17 mode option switch should be listed directly below the NXDN mode. Go ahead and switch on M17. Scroll further down the configuration screen, you'll find an M17 reflector drop-down list. Select your preferred M17 reflector and module. Once you're happy with your settings, don't forget to click on the Apply Changes button when you're finished. Let's have a look at the dashboard page. Note that M17 mode is enabled, and a green M17 net indicates that we are connected to an M17 network, and any M17 calls are logged. Okay, I ran into one snafu, a little anomaly, and that is my display currently displays M17 calls as P25, and that's likely because the software which controls the display hasn't been updated. I need to work on that, so stay tuned. Well, once again, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this segment and adding M17 to your Pi-Star. For now, 7.3 from VE3MIC.
Okay, Tommy, on the cheapness scale,
He's on up there. I mean, down there.
I'm down with that.
Clearly, everything email used was free.
Yeah.
But Mike didn't spend a whole lot of money on that either. So
Yeah.
Well, technically, I might have to yield to the VE3MIC on this one because that Vera protocol, if you register it, is not free technically.
How much is the registration?
$69.
Okay, so Mike.
Oh, winner.
Oh, yeah. I
yeah,
think we have a new champion for the week.
I think we do.
Now, technically, you don't have to register it, but I think Mike might have edged me out on that one.
Okay. Well, I had
I'll tell
that.
you what, they were so cheap. I bought 2 of them in Mill.
Nice.
Wait a
They
minute.
were cheap at half the price.
You better
Oh,
do
wait a
some
minute.
calculating there.
Hold on, let me get my pen.
It
How
could
much
be
was that
close.
first one, Mike?
It could be close.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 28 something?
How much was that first one, Mike?
I thought it was 23, and then it's about $15 for the. Well, up
Okay,
here
and-
it's $15 for the Pi Zeros W's.
So
up
that
here.
times 2, inflation, Canadian exchange rate. Nope, I won. I might have won, George.
He probably calculated that in Kelvin's email. So
Burn, as my daughter would say.
yeah. So I gotta ask. So you've got M17 on Pi-Star now, which is cool. But
What can you do with
what
it?
can you do with it?
Yeah, exactly. And when the whole M17 project came about, I thought, okay, well, we're hams. We experiment with new modes and new technology. So I was okay with that. And I'm glad you asked me that question because the ubiquitous MD380 handhelds, which I think you and Tommy both have one of those kicking around somewhere.
Yep.
They're essentially a DMR handheld UHF radio. And thanks to, I'm sorry I forgot his call, Travis Goodspeed, who did the original hack, managed to reverse engineer the firmware on the MD380 and, gave us custom firmware for the MD380. Because of his work, the M17 team was able to use that information to create or put on the M17 protocol directly onto the firmware. So they have a new firmware, which, well, I guess I'm going to commit myself. So next segment will be on converting my MD380 to run M17 natively. But
is
for
it
now, all my testing was done with DroidStar.
So is it like all or nothing? M17 and no DMR, or is it both?
No.
It's both. It's both.
Oh.
It doesn't affect the radio as far as I know. All all that's required for this hardware mod. Apparently, the audio bandwidth has to be opened up just a tiny bit for it to work properly with M17. So that apparently doesn't affect normal operation of the HT.
Well, interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. My MD380's been sitting on the shelf for so long, I don't even know if it still works.
Yeah, I use
Get
it
it out and use it.
on the net when I'm checking in with all the different modes. Not every week, but
the team has a hardware project as well. Now, I haven't been following it too closely, but if you go to the m17project.org site, there's all kinds of information on their site about that. And these boards are essentially like, remember the original, what were the GSM boards to put D-Star on a regular commercial radio? It's something similar to that, and actually it will do the same thing, except for this time around it's for M17. So if you don't even have an MD380, a lot of the commercial two-way radios can utilize one of these boards to turn it into an M17 radio.
Interesting.
There's been a lot of movement on the M17 project since I first looked at it. When did we do that segment? About, I don't know, 2 years ago. But anyway, they're going full steam ahead, and I guess a lot of the thanks and the reason why it works with Pi-Star, although Pi-Star doesn't officially support M17 yet, but I think, well, I'm gonna say I believe it was Jonathan Naylor that wrote the code into the DVM firmware, and that's why you needed 1.6.0 or better firmware for the M17 to work properly, because he added that codec into the firmware. Well, obviously more than the codec, but he added all the bits to make M17 work on
You had me looking at the firmware on mine. I'm on 1.5.2, so I'll look forward to seeing what you were doing on that too.
Yeah.
1.5.2 on your N5BOC board? You do flex board?
Correct. And you need like 1.6 or above, he said, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to update mine lately. Have you tried yours, Emil?
Yeah. I just looked at the normal site I usually go to for that modem, and it's still on 1.5.2 late, so it must be in development, basically.
Okay. Cool.
My multi-mode repeater is now M17 capable. I wasn't running the latest firmware either for MMDVM, but I updated it, and it's working okay. As far as I can test it, I have no way of testing it via RF, so any of my testings that was done over the network.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to be back in just a moment. First, a message from ICOM, and don't go away, because Tommy's going to do a little world exploring here. Well,
some globetrotting.
Globetrotting, yes.
Like Metal Arc Lemon.
Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. ICOM's high-powered base stations cut through pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contest from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RSBA One app. Heard it, worked it, logged it. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. The real HF fun starts here. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. This all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy. Faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. 4.3-inch color touchscreen TFT LCD, real-time high-speed spectrum scope, and waterfall display. Smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. ICOM's IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM 7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling system, 110 RMDR, independent dual receiver, dual digicell. ICOM's IC7851 gives you a new window into the RF world and is HF excellence unparalleled. With faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal, it's truly the pinnacle of HF perfection. Dual receivers, digital IF filters, memory keyer, digital voice recorder, high-resolution spectrum waterfall display, enhanced PC connectivity, and SD memory card slot. Learn more about all these great ICOM radios at icomamerica.com/amateur.
Well, Tommy, does this one require any setup, or is it all in the video?
It's all in the video. Might have some comments at the end of it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Well, I got a new toy. I got a DVMega Globetrotter. This is from the same people that made the DVMega. You've seen that on Amateur Logic numerous times. I still use mine. Great little board, DVM board, multi-mode. And this little device is really cool. It's a cross between a thumb DV type board and an ambi server that you can connect to remotely. And it's very convenient. It's lightweight. The power consumption is pretty low. So I've been running it off this little tiny USB battery that I bought at Radio Shack when they were going out of business. And it runs pretty good while for that. I get several hours out of it. So you can see the package to carry around is very minimal. All you need is that and the cable. You can connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot with this thing, or you can plug the USB cable up and hook it up to your computer and use it like a thumb DV. And I'll show you both of those options in just a moment. First of all, let's go ahead and power it up and set it up. So I'll go ahead and just plug the power into my little battery. There we go. Okay, it's booting up. File system mounted. Read config. Config's okay. Connecting to Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not connected. So let's go ahead and connect it to my Wi-Fi access point here. To scroll through the menu options, just hit the menu button, just like it says right there. It's pretty self-explanatory. It says right now we're doing ambi server. If we hit the OK button, it scrolls through the options. This also does an ambi dongle. We'll look at that later. Let's do the server first. So I went back to there. We'll go ahead and hit menu and go down to the next one. IP assignment is DHCP. You can set your own if you want to. I just use DHCP here because it's easy. And there's the status right now of it. It's just got a local IP because it's not connected to a hotspot. And the port that you've got to open if you want to use it outside or to actually connect your computer software to it. I'll leave all that by default. Now the Wi-Fi config. The SSID is Globetrotter, so I'm going to change that. So I'll hit the OK button, and it's going to let me, I can go through and type that in. My hotspot is broadcasting the name, so I'm going to go ahead and go down through the list by hitting the menu button again and hit down to where it says scan right here. And I'll hit OK. And it's scanning for Wi-Fi. It brings up the list of all the ones around there. Well, you see the one with my call sign on it. Let's go ahead and hit that. Now we set the password. I'm not going to show you my password. To select it, it's a little bit awkward. It's not bad after you do it a time or two, but when you hit the menu button, it scrolls through the letters, lowercase, uppercase, and the punctuation and everything. It's also got your control options. See, there's delete. I put those in by accident, so I'm going to back them up. The first one of mine starts with an R. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. R. And then we go down to the next letter until you get to the end of it. Now I'm going to do the rest of it off camera because I don't want you to see my password. You've got DEL for delete, RDY for ready or okay, and CAN cancels the whole operation and takes you back out of the menu. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on RDY to exit, come out. Oh, so save the settings, press OK. There. Now it's starting up the device. Okay, look, it got an IP address from my hotspot, so that's definitely one of mine that my device is giving out over there, or my access point. So it should be on the network. So I'm going to try my phone out. Before we started, I've played with this before. I reset it earlier, but before we started all this, I downloaded 2 pieces of software, Blue DV I've had on here, and then I downloaded Blue DV Ambi. And that's what we're going to use because it's going to use this Ambi server. Now we're going to go into setup, put in all your information, your DMR info, all that good stuff, your Ambi server, and put in your IP address that it gave you and the port that you set up. If you changed it, I just left it at the default. And we'll do submit. Next, let's hit connect, and we can see it connected to my Ambi server. And we'll go ahead and connect to 30 Charlie. That's probably the one that's got this is on D-Star. So to change it, you can go up here. This is not a segment about the Ambi software here. It's about the DVMega Globetrotter. But short of it is, I'm just going to use the US truss reflectors for this one because 30 Charlie is probably the busiest one in the world, and I'm going to have a best chance of hearing somebody on there. So we'll hit the green button.
Link to REF030C.
So I'm on 30 Charlie, and what you know is nobody's on there. Let's look and make sure that we're connected. And we should find ourselves in there. And there we are. So we're definitely connected. And now we could tap the screen here and start call somebody if we want to or whatever. The other good thing about it is it doesn't work with just your phone. It works with the Blue DV software on the computer. Let's go over here and run the Blue DV software that's on the computer. So we go into menu, setup, and let's make sure that it's set up right. So I went ahead and set all my stuff up, and we're going to do some DV or DV stick, and we're going to turn on use Ambi server, put in our IP address and make sure our port's right, and click save. Now we're going to open the serial port, which connects us to our Ambi server, and you can see on right here on the status it says connected. Let's go ahead and connect D-Star. I do D-Star because I like it. I'm more familiar with it. If you're a DMR guy or a Fusion guy, you can do the same thing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do link.
W5ERX from W9LW loud and clear.
And there's somebody in there. So I finally caught somebody on this time.
W9LW, W5ERX. Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and unlink that, and let's change this up a little bit. So you can also use it as a dongle. So let's go ahead into the menu. We'll scroll through the options. It says Ambi server, gives us our info. Oops. The system, Ambi server. We'll click OK. It scrolls us through to Ambi dongle. We'll go on out till it asks us to save the config. Just keep tapping it. There it is. Save settings. Okay. And it's restarting. So we can disconnect that. Hook it up to our computer over here. The device is hooked up. This is a Windows 10 computer. I didn't add any drivers or anything to it. So I'm going to go ahead into the menu, setup, and let's turn off use Ambi server. Now I've got the my DMR ID, the baud rate and stuff is set up. It tells you on the screen right here, the baud rate is 230, 400. That's what I've got set up right here. We'll click save. We'll open the serial port again, which will connect. Oops, can't open the COM port, so let's go check it. Set up. Serial port. So on COM 4, save. Now let's try it. D-star. And let's link up again. And this guy's still on here. To talk, you can just tap the space bar, use the microphone that's hooked up to your computer. So let's go ahead and disconnect off of that. I don't travel as much anymore, but I always take my handy talkie with me, but I don't always have a hotspot with me. So this is pretty sweet. I can leave this hooked up, as I mentioned, to my Wi-Fi here, open the port from on my router to this IP address for this device, and then I can use my cell phone to get on D-Star or DMR or Fusion, whatever, when I'm away from home. So it's really cool. I want to thank Goose and David for the software that the hardware and the software that they've put out for the ham community. Those guys are always on the bleeding edge and doing some really cool stuff for all of us. So thanks to those guys. 73. But it's a pretty cool little device. It's kind of neat. It's really small. But like I said, that little battery runs the thing for a long time.
Some of those features it's got is, I don't know of anything else that does some of that.
Yeah, not in one device. I mean, you can make your own Ambi server, but it's not really for the faint of heart like you guys did.
Yeah.
There's that was one kind of item that was missing that until now, obviously, because there wasn't any kind of plug and play on the go type Ambi servers that were available to get. And now there is, so he's definitely filling a gap there.
Yeah, it's really nice. There's also there's a firmware update out for it. Probably going to do a short, an Amateur Logic short, sometime here in the next few weeks for that, and show how to update the firmware and turn on the screensaver. There's a screensaver for it. Anyway, it's a really cool thing. I appreciate them sending it, and him and David, like I said, they're always doing some really cool stuff for the ham community. David writes that software. It's all for free.
Lightning struck our Facebook post with a post from Bob Latham, DV7NIB, who wrote to our fellow members who like DIY, do it yourself. Lightning detector is easy to build with options and even lightning simulation tests to test it out with. Basically, this is a little circuit that is resonant at 300 kilohertz with, as he puts it, plenty of sensitivity here. And it's a great circuit for beginners. So if you're looking to break into that weather and in the hobby and lightning for detection of lightning, this little circuit, he says, is pretty darn good. And there's lots of information here to walk you through as a beginner. And if you want to get something kit formed going, this is the chance here.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's really cool. I'm kind of tempted to get the stuff together and build that. Pretty neat.
If you don't have a weather dog,
Yeah, well, here lately, you don't even need the weather dog for your lightning detector. All you got to do is open up the window and look out, because it's pretty much lightning.
I was thinking the
lately.
same thing. You could just get a dog that's afraid of thunderstorms.
That's mine.
I'm sure he'd let you know every time there was a storm on its way.
Anytime there's one getting close, she goes straight behind the couch and hides. Just like, you can count on it.
This came from Mr. G. This product was used to do a workshop at the CPAC Hamfest in June 2022 in Oregon. It was a great success. Here is an actual picture of hams at work at the workshop. Here's what they used. It's the Mr. Circuit Lab number 1101B with 30 hands-on experiments. And there's a link there at the bottom of the screen. It's projects. There's a lot of components in there, and it comes with a manual The projects are all packaged. Follow the instructions in the manual and you build these, and it's a good activity to do at Hamfest. It'd be good for youths too, I would think.
For the Utes.
For the Utes. Because it's electronic projects, and you know, a lot of people maybe, even though they're hams, they may have never done any electronics.
Yeah.
And this would be a good activity. Apparently it worked out great at CPAC this year. So check that out, MrCircuitTechnology.com, to learn more about it. This right here came through the snail mail. And if you watch the last episode of Ham College, we play some old commercials in between portions of the program there. We'll play a few old commercials, maybe out of the 60s or 70s, or probably have even done some out of the 80s and the 50s as well. But
a lot of black and white ones.
A lot of black and white ones. And we had one, I think, was out of the 70s for California prunes.
Plump, moisturized, tender, sweet, still packed with energy. All those vitamins and minerals, natural fruit sugars, just taste better. Lots better. Unnatural for breakfast. Do you realize that this plump, juicy prune cooks up in just a few minutes? Seriously, you could have a good-tasting bowlful in no time.
The guy just looked like he was really enjoying the prunes.
He was wearing those things out.
I've never seen anybody enjoy something like that so much. So I'm thinking he was in California. He could have been an actor.
It's possible.
It's art, or either he just really liked them.
Or both.
Yep. And you made the comment that you had never tasted prunes before.
I don't think I've ever had them. If I do, I don't recall it.
Well, boy, are you in luck.
Uh-oh.
Arnie was thinking about us. He sent a gift. Came through the mail, and it's got a little note here, and it says, noticed your lack of culinary experience during the last Ham College episode. They are not salty. Enjoy. From Arnie Carlson, K5ARN. It's Looney Prunes.
Looney Pruny.
And we've got a big bag of them there. I have tasted them before.
But dig in, man.
And I'm having some sewer issues right now. So, but, yeah. So I guess we need to taste a prune. You've never done it before.
I don't think I've ever had one. If I have, I don't recall it.
Well, I don't think I've had any since I was a kid, so I don't remember exactly what they taste like either.
It's a good thing he said they weren't salty.
It's a good thing we saved this to the end of the show.
They're not.
What did he send us that last time? Burritos?
Burritos.
Yeah.
Man.
Salted licorice, basically.
Yeah. Now, so I have actually had prunes before as a kid.
Oh.
So.
You got to eat them all?
It's like raisins.
It looks like flattened raisins.
It looks like it's really big raisins.
Yep.
Not bad.
Here, dig in.
What do you think? It's better than burritos, isn't it?
Get used to them because that's what they serve in the old folks' home.
Yeah. They're kind of sticky.
Kind of like raisin. Just a lot
Like
bigger.
a big soft raisin.
Yeah. They're loony, though.
They're not bad. But they're not great either.
Oh, they're not bad.
No, they're not bad. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of the texture of them.
Yeah. Well, they usually have a great big old seed in there.
Really?
Yeah. And these have been, I guess,
Pitted.
de-seeded. Yeah, pitted.
They're pretty sticky and messy.
Yeah. Now, don't go crazy with them there. You might.
I'm not going to go crazy with them. I think I'm going to
Yeah, you don't want to eat those regularly, or you will be.
Yeah, we still got to finish the show.
Well put, Mike. Well put.
Well, they are quite sticky. I wasn't prepared for that.
So that's what happens to the old show notes there that you print out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Arnie.
Yeah, thanks, Arnie.
Now I've had them. They're not bad.
And they're not salty.
No?
No, they're actually edible. They're not bad. But I don't know about that guy on that commercial.
He was wearing them out like they were just like candy or something, man. Now I can scratch it off my list, something I did.
Yep. Tommy, that sure is a snazzy shirt you're wearing there.
It is. Hey, you don't have...
I
You
don't.
need to go get one. You're missing out.
Gee, Emil, where'd you get that nice hat?
I think I got it at Spreadshirt, the AmateurLogic Spreadshirt store, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you probably did. At shop.spreadshirt.com/AmateurLogic. You got them on there just like it. The hats like you guys have on. You guys are looking sharp too. You complement each other right there.
Yep.
Same.
Well, Emil, I
headwear.
really must say you look really snazzy wearing that ball cap.
Why, you do too, Mike.
Well, thanks for the compliment.
You know, I saw them right before the show tonight, and they both had that on it, and I'm thinking, yeah, we should have had some of those too. We'd almost have enough folks for a team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too much of a ball cap wearer. I hardly ever wear one.
I do if I'm out in the sun.
So are you saying we're going to have the AmateurLogic.TV softball tournament at Huntsville?
No, that's
Well,
the snipe hunt tournament over
Oh,
there.
snipe hunting. Okay.
Yeah.
But Ham College, you know, all respectable colleges have a ball team.
You know, I haven't heard from Jocelyn lately. I know he was talking about coming to Huntsville. I don't know if they're going to make it this year or not, but he and Chris and the whole family, usually came down every year to Huntsville.
Yeah.
And
Maybe they'll make it. Hope so.
Mm-hmm. And we had
There's danger just over my shoulders, so try to keep it down about the hats.
Okay.
Yeah. He's getting hungry.
You're not
that's
talking about Kaiser, are you?
No, that's she. That's Anastasia.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one who eats the hats.
Oh.
She's
Yeah,
just waiting
partners
for you to sit it down. That's what she's
Yeah.
back there for.
Exactly. She's very observant. Kaiser's the one who takes them. She's the one who eats them.
Oh.
So he gathers it for her.
Yes. He's a good old
That's nice
chivalrous
of him.
dog.
She's the hunter, he's the gatherer.
She's the killer.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
we've got a brand new repeater that's going to be on the air. Well, it actually is right now.
But it's just on this air right here.
Yeah. Well, it reads all from here to over there. Just like that 433 megahertz setup I had years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that goes a little further though, but hopefully that'll be on the air soon. It'll be W5AXC, Alpha X-Ray Charlie.
Hey, what does that stand for?
Amateur Experimenters Club. And it's a club we formed called the Southern Amateur Radio Experimenters Club of Ridgeland, Mississippi. And I'm the only one who lives in Ridgeland. But, it's sitting right here, so, and we've been experimenting with it.
And it's going to actually be in Jackson.
Yeah, it's just across the
still in
city
Jackson.
limits, yeah. It'll be in Jackson, North Jackson. Tommy is a member of that club. Wayne, KG5RE is. Jeff, W5PPB. So we've got a number of hams in the area that are members of the club. Now, we've never actually had an in-person meeting yet. It's all been done digitally. But we have had meetings. As a matter of fact, this is a far-reaching club. It even reaches down south there, and
South Louisiana.
Emil is a member of the club.
And even West Florida.
It's
Yep.
yeah.
And it
Also reaches South Canada.
it's like international.
South Canada.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike's a member too. We needed to call a sign for the repeater, so we formed a club, and
But
that's
it's a
what it
legit
is.
club.
Hmm.
You know, George, as a representing member of the Imperial faction of the club, what is the official measurement standard for the club, by the way? Not to cause any trouble, I'm just asking.
It's not Kelvins.
Okay.
I think it should be. That should work for everybody.
No, it's watts.
Watts.
Watts. We measure everything in watts.
Gotcha.
So today, I think it was like, it was a little under 100 watts out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like every bit of 100 of it.
Yeah. So that repeater will be on the air very soon. Hopefully, I don't know, within the next week, but Huntsville is next weekend. If I can get over there to the site, we'll get it on the air. Got a lot of projects going on at work, but hopefully we can get it on. If not, it's ready to go. It just needs to be taken over and screwed to the antenna.
We even got a set of cans back here.
But the reason I mentioned that is because right now it will not be of use to us on Tuesday nights, but you're working on that.
I will be working on it.
You'll be working on that. And when I say Tuesday nights, what am I talking
I don't know
about?
what happens on Tuesday night.
Email?
I'm thinking that there's the Amateur Logic Sound Check Net, which you may be referring to. It's on every Tuesday night at around 8 p.m. Central or 1 UTC, where we get together and we talk to all the people who watch the show or just hams out there, and with all these great Jeffs and honorary Jeff Brad linking us to the world, literally. We can hit all the modes, and there's even a little competition within the modes, and you could take a shot at a picture. We usually call it "What the heck is it?" during the net, and also answer some questions. It's a pretty fun time. It's good times.
Fun times. And we're there every Tuesday night, and we rotate net controls, and some of the net controls are people that hang out in the chat room there as well, and just various people that we know.
We've had over 120 fun times.
We have.
It's like I think this will be like 122 this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who is?
I just noticed that we need to add hams over IP, so the list continues to grow for the digital modes.
Yeah.
And analog, I guess.
Yeah, I'll try to do that this weekend.
So who is just coming Tuesdays?
That's a good
net
question.
Controls.
That would be Tom and Marty.
Okay.
All right.
All right, cool. And I see, well, they're both right there in the chat room right now. So, guys, we'll be looking for y'all Tuesday night. This past week, it was Tommy and I. Or Dean Martin and Professor Thomas.
Either or.
Either or. Either way.
And Tuesday will be AD0PO and WA2IVD.
Throughout the month between episodes, you can check in one of our social media sites to see what's going on there. We've got several groups there. First up, we've got Facebook/groups/AmateurLogic.TV.
We're also on MeWe, MeWe.com/join/AmateurLogic.TV. I skipped around, sorry.
Yeah.
And you can follow us at Amateur Logic on Twitter.
And there's groups.io/ is that a G? Sorry,
Yeah.
it's cropped a little
It's a
bit.
G.
Yeah.
G/AmateurLogic.
Okay. So,
Man, what is it about the G lately?
I don't know. That was Mr. G that sent this email.
Mr. G. We got D-Star Gateway G. We got IO Groups IOG. We got the G, Professor G.
Yeah, we, I'm not at liberty to discuss it. We don't want any.
This show is brought to you by the letter G.
We don't want anybody coming in and raiding the shack here. And
there's been some talk. I think it may have been Arnie that mentioned it last segment about MFJ's having their 50th anniversary this year. Have you heard anything? Are they going to have their annual due in October? I think it is.
I asked Richard about that, and I don't think they're going to hold the event this year. They're going to do something, but I don't think they're going to host the big event that they've held in years past, and for, well, probably a number of reasons. It's fun. I'm sure that they'll be doing tours and stuff again. And if you're in the Starkville, Mississippi area, I believe all you got to do is just let them know, hey, I'm going to be there on such and such a date. And in the past, they've given factory tours to people that, any time of the year.
Yeah.
So, but it's MFJ's 50th anniversary this year.
That's amazing.
It is.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So they have, they have, I don't know how many products that they have had over those 50 years, but it's in excess of 1,000, I'm sure.
Oh, it's got to be.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, congratulations, MFJ. And
Absolutely.
Martin Jew and the whole crew. Well, I think that's about going to wrap up tonight's show. Before we get out of here, though, let's go around and see if anybody's got anything remaining that we need to talk about tonight. Tommy?
No, just hope to see some of you at the Huntsville Ham Fest. That'll be before the next Amateur Logic. So,
yep.
Anyway, hope to see some of you out there.
Yep, that'll be this coming weekend, 21st. I don't remember the date right off, but this coming weekend, we're actually going to arrive on
the 20th and the 21st.
Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So, looking forward to seeing some of you over there.
Yeah, in case anyone's interested, it's 289 degrees Kelvin right now, currently.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to report before we go, Mike?
No, I think that's about it. My iced tea's just about out, so I think it's time to close the show.
Yeah, pretty much same as what Tommy was saying. Looking forward to the trip up to Huntsville and meeting everybody and making contacts on the way there and back. So hope to see y'all there. 7-3.
So, email, where are you going to be on the air?
Over by the museum, the Rocket Museum. I've never gone to that place either, and everybody's telling me I got to go. I think Peter even told me a while back to go, so I'm doing it this year.
Thing? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but no, what I meant is where you're going to be on the air during the drive.
Oh, probably 20 meters.
20 meters.
Yep,
okay.
20 meters on the way up there. Set something up in the truck.
Okay, well, we may have to get in touch because I'll have HF in the truck, so we'll be traveling about the same time, I think. So,
okay.
But, 20 meters might not work too good between us.
Yeah, we're probably a little close, but you never know.
Yeah, true. All right, and from me, I'm just going to say, join us in Huntsville if you can make it. At the end of the month, we'll be having another Ham College. I don't know what the topic will be, but it's something else out of the amateur extra pool. That's coming up pretty quick. If you missed the last episode, Dean Martin actually sang the theme song.
Yeah. Don't be looking for that in the rerun.
Oh, it's in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go watch it and see what you've done now.
Well, it's in there.
Does it have to be theater worthy?
No, you probably wouldn't notice it because we had forgotten and left the microphones turned off when he did it. So there's no evidence, but other than the mention that it happened. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again next month, around the middle of the month. 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.
7-3.
You gonna sing the theme song there?
You missed it, Tommy. There was Arnie's blooper right there.
Oh man,
that's
backwards.
No,
it's backwards, Emil.
There's your second blooper, Arnie.